So previously on Grassroots Podcast. That would be dope, right? If like we introed the show like that moving forward.
What, like a CSI?
Yeah, like the CSI voice where it's like previously.
SVU?
Yeah.
Dun dun. Okay, we had something like that, yeah, like the beat.
We need like sound effects, and we can't keep using our voices.
We're too poor.
Yeah, we're super poor.
I don't know. I think Erin does a pretty good job with sound effects.
Well, yeah, we have.
Oh yeah, when I was like rap beefs. It's not like pew pew like that anymore.
Yeah.
I had to keep it G-rated. There's
And
the youth are listening to our podcast.
And your famous brat.
Oh yeah,
That's famous.
Blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my sound effects ready.
Those are sound effects. We have a special guest today with us, as always. Before we get into it, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, Grassroots Podcast, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification button, and be notified for our latest to the greatest episodes. I am one of the hosts here today, Brandon Killabh Hall.
I'm Erin Ashley Simon.
I'm Wilson.
And our special guest. Now, we have a rule of thumb. Once you come onto our show, it's kind of like when you go into your friend's home where you've already been there more than twice, where you can just go in the fridge.
Right.
Yeah, this is your chance to kind of go into the fridge and introduce yourself.
That's cute. Whoa. So my name is Essence Gant. I am the beauty director at Buzzfeed.
Hey.
Yeah, from Augusta, Georgia.
You see that skin? That's southern skin right there. You see that shit?
The Georgia peach.
That's
Super
Georgia peach.
country.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Big fan of your work. I wanted to, first off, just get into a little bit of your journey, and then we have obviously some really, really cool topics to talk about today.
Okay.
How did you start? Let's get there.
Yo, it's such a I'm going to give you the short version. So, I'm from Augusta. Y'all know that already. So, I went to I went to undergrad at Albany State, HBCU in Georgia, majored in social work because I was like, I like helping people. This is what's up. And then I got in it and I was like, hell no. Like it was like super sad and like I'm saying because we already talked about this off camera or off air that like I don't like to be sad. I don't like to be scared. So and I was like, yo, I love the idea of advocacy because that's all like social work is about, like advocating. But this right here, I can't do. And I interned at like a child advocacy center, so it was like the worst. Like you go into work one day and you're like, this is the worst possible thing a kid could go through, right? And then you go in the next day and it's like something tops that. And I lost weight, my hair was coming out, like it was bad. I was like super couldn't do it.
Damn.
So then grad school comes around, and I was like, true story. All right, so I'm driving home from aerobics senior year in undergrad, and Empire State of Mind comes on. And when Jay-Z was like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And I was like, oh, shoot, I think I should go to see if I can make it because that's basically what Sean just told me to do. So I go to grad school to SUNY Albany, and at this point I know like social work is not really what I'm trying to do, but it was really an excuse to get to New York. So I was like, my parents can't say no to education. Like I'm getting a master's. What you gonna do? Be like, no. So I was like, I'm going to get my master's or whatever. So my whole plan was to get up there and then just like network, which is what I did, to try to get a job in media because I've always liked media, entertainment, and more specifically like beauty, fashion, women's lifestyle. But I didn't like how narrow it was and how there was no representation, no diversity. So I was just like, I can advocate in this way. So like I'm not cut out to be a social worker, but I definitely think I'm cut out to be kind of like a voice for women of color and people who are underrepresented in this space. And so that's what I did. Went to grad school, almost flunked out of my gerontology class, which is like the study of old people, I think. Because I was never going to class. I was always networking. And, I ended up working at Hype Hair, which, like, if you're a black girl and you grew up getting your hair done at the salon every Saturday, you know Hype Hair magazine because they all up in a salon. And so that was my very first job as the editorial assistant, and I just worked my way up from there.
Nice. That's you tell your story so well. I don't think I can ever speak about myself that well.
Really?
No.
Well, I feel like if you do it a bunch of times, you will. Because I've had to tell that story so many times.
Oh, yeah. Especially when people are like, what was your come up? Because you know how like a lot of youth, they want to get to where you are. And so they're asking you like, how did you get to where you are? And you're like, oh, gosh. Okay, here's my SparkNote version. Bam, 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 bam. You get used to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Even the SparkNote, like mine is like, I worked on a bunch of shit and this is what it did. Like, I don't say it. It's cool. Like, you see how you threw in the lines with like Hove and the story? Like, I don't have the punchline story.
You know
down.
what? It may be because I'm a writer also. And I feel like even when I was growing up, my teachers would be like, you're so voicey. Like, as in, like, you have like good, like, you're compelling when you tell stories. So maybe that's just it. Also, I'm Southern. You know, we be having a whole bunch of sayings. We be saying shit that don't make sense. Just like for no reason. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah, more than likely that's probably what it is. or people just don't care.
Yeah.
Either way, glad to have you.
Yes.
Definitely be sure to check it out. I've worked with you many a times.
Yes.
Like I said, I've been a fan of you for God knows how long. And I'm really, really happy to see like your ascension, where you're going in your
Thank
career.
you,
I think it's really, really
likewise.
dope. I want to get into some topics. We already kind of had a great conversation off air. Where do y'all want to start? Because there's a lot.
Well, she's all about the words and stuff, so we gotta start with that show, Rhythm Flow.
All right,
Yes.
let's start with Rhythm and Flow. So recently, Netflix just debuted the new show Rhythm and Flow on Netflix. Now, the unusual yet really, really interesting thing about this show, I think this is the first time where they've done it on Netflix where you have to actually kind of tune in every week like an actual TV show that would be on cable network, just done on Netflix. So I thought that was really, really smart and interesting. This show is based on almost like I guess like a urban kind of American Idol, where they go across the world selecting contestants and having contests to have this one big competition to see who is the best artist that they can possibly find that will eventually get a record deal.
Spearheaded by who?
This is spearheaded by Chance the Rapper. He is the main, I'll say, host and would we say panelist, guest, not guest, host rather, or
Judge?
rather?
Yeah.
Right. Main judge of the show. Yeah, I guess we'll start there.
Him, Cardi B, T.I.
T.I.
Cardi B is a producer for the show
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I saw her
Sis,
name on the
you
credits.
gotta
Yeah.
catch
Yep.
And I think, was it T.I. who's also a producer? I might get this wrong, but Chris looked that up.
Yeah.
But another one of them is also a producer as well.
Yeah, basically.
Oh
can
wow,
see T.I. being a
guys,
producer.
we have an artist FaceTiming me right now.
Oh.
All right.
Do you have you heard of Bree Steves?
No.
Hold on, ready?
All right,
Let me
let's
see. Let me see if it's allowed. Bree Steves, I am right now doing my podcast, and I have a bunch of people here. So let me talk to you later. Say hi.
Hi, Bree
Hey.
Steves.
All right, let me hit you up later.
And I refer to you by your full
Bye.
name every time. All I do is say, "Oh, that's Bree Steves." Like I never
it's
say
Bree
Bree.
You know what's
Steves.
funny? Okay, guys, it's a little bit off track. The other day was the first time I've ever heard her use her full name, Brianna. I was like, whoa.
I've never heard her use it.
I was like, wow, I've never heard you for the last 3-4 years I've known you. I've never heard you say that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like that time where like you're friends with someone for like a while and then they just throw something on you and you're just
Yeah.
like,
Like,
wait,
whoa,
what?
I thought I knew everything about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a moment. But if you get a chance, check Brie out. She's dope. She's dropping a project. I don't know when, sometime soon.
Yeah.
But she performed at Rolling Loud.
Word.
So that's probably
She's
why.
definitely really, really
Yeah.
dope.
But let's go back to
oh, yeah, so back
the
on-
show.
yeah,
Wrap
back
it.
on the show.
Sorry, guys.
All right. So first, I think we should start because we had a really, really good dialogue. Let's first start with let's go city by city, right? So it starts in New York
LA.
or LA because I
Yeah,
can't remember.
LA.
I binge watched the shit out of this show.
I did too.
Me too.
First, what do you guys think in terms of the best city thus far? Who would you guys say is winning the picking competition? aspect?
Chicago.
Right?
Chicago got
I think Atlanta got it right now.
What?
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Wait, which one? Like which person from Atlanta?
Homegirl with the afro,
it. London.
London.
black and blonde
or
joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
London B.
London B.
Yeah.
So your pick is London B. Okay.
She gonna take it.
Okay. I liked her, and I liked Bad News from Atlanta. Those
Definitely.
are probably my favorite from Atlanta. But
Yeah.
overall talent, I'm going to go with Chicago.
Okay, Chicago.
Yeah, overall, I did like. There's another chick from Atlanta. Chris, what's her name? She's the one who has the brother who's incarcerated.
She was
And I liked her though because you could tell that she's a poet.
good. Yeah.
And she brought like a different style
did
and
bring a
flair,
different style.
but also like her words were very impactful, which I
Yeah.
thought was amazing.
It's Amavi.
Amavi,
Amavi.
yeah, I liked her too. But yo, what about that one guy though, the white guy?
Man,
In
listen.
Atlanta?
No, the one that he was talking about.
Oh, in Chicago.
In Chicago. Yeah, mine for me was Chicago. Even though one of my picks is from Oakland.
Yeah, not the white guy from Atlanta. I remember that one.
No, not
Not that one.
He was out of
Not
his
that one. That one.
Yeah, let's not
He
confuse
was
them.
like, I'm emo and stuff. I'm like, bro, what?
Fam, the
Yo,
one
wildin'.
dude though, the one that was goth, and
Yeah, that kid was dope though.
That's what I
He was
thought.
dope.
Yo, you know what? And I thought Royce, shout out to Royce, and we'll try to contact Royce later. I thought Royce gave him some really, really good information. We'll get there. But the white guy from Chicago, what was his name, Chris? The one that had the Asher Roth, Eminem kind of vibe where he just fooled everyone. He looked like a geek of sorts, huh?
Sam, be yourself.
Sam, be yourself. Check this out. That dude is marketable. Extremely marketable. Number one, he is like a modern day M to me and a modern day Asher Roth with that very college innocent look, and then comes on the stage and just destroys it. I wasn't expecting that whatsoever from that kid. On top of it, his showmanship and performance on the stage was immaculate. He was very, very, very polished. I think even the fans that were in the crowd watching these performances, I think they were even taken back from it.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the one thing I've noticed though was like you can tell that some of these artists or a good portion of these artists really do not focus on stage presence or breath control and like the important things that you need for performances. It's like they only focus in on writing the pen and they only focus in on like getting the song in the studio. But like one of the biggest things, if you see, no matter what you feel about Cardi, no matter what you feel about Quavos or T.I., they all have stage presence,
Yeah.
and that's
100%.
what makes them stand out.
100%.
I remember the first time I went to Cardi B for her homecoming show in New York. I was blown away. I was like, yo, like she is a performer. And that's the biggest thing that I feel like a good amount of them are missing. Now, that can be taught, but I'm always so surprised that that's not something that these young individuals try to focus on at least, or at least study or try to figure out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and I'm sure everyone in the room can touch on it. Most artists, like especially when you're naive to the business or the strategy behind actually being a performer, a lot of people just think, I make dope records,
Right.
I can write, and I look good, or whatever
Yeah.
whatever your niche is, right? A lot of people don't factor in a lot of the other aspects that goes into performing. Like, remember the one dude, we were talking about it earlier, where there was a lot of fast rappers on there.
Right.
And all of the judges said the same thing. Hey, man, I'm sure that sounded amazing if I could understand what you were saying.
Right.
That's important. The same about the one kid. The one kid I thought was really, really going to be good. The light-skinned kid, he was young. He was in college. And
What city?
Chicago?
Chicago. And he rapped extremely fast. I said, yo, he has the look. He can rap, but he didn't have the performance. He was out of shape. And even Royce touched on it. He said, yo, I thought it was great, but if you're going to be bouncing around the stage, may want to get in the gym.
Yeah,
may want to get in the gym and be
sure.
in shape.
But at least that's easy.
Yeah,
to change.
and I think that's exactly, and I think it's something that you just don't naturally, it's not like a natural thought. Like if you're thinking like, I want to be a performer or like an artist, like you're not thinking like, oh, I need to like get in shape. Like it's just not like a natural thought. And I think it does, that's why like things like artist development and all of that is so important, because those are the things, like those other factors that someone can, you know, teach you, and then people can nurture you and help grow you. But like, I think for most people, and what should be the priority in my opinion, is just having kind of like a raw base level of talent, like because so many other things can be taught.
Definitely.
Like,
Yeah, and I was gonna just to add on to that, like if you have that base level, like I don't understand how people don't utilize certain platforms like YouTube and stuff like that. Like for example, like I do anchoring work. I didn't go to school for broadcasting. I watched other broadcasters. I looked up on YouTube the like pronunciations, enunciations, certain practices. Like the information is out there. And I just, for me, it's like, I feel like there's enough artists and people now, like they may not have the necessary people to give them the full knowledge, but there's been enough artists that are saying, hey, you have to also be a performer.
Yeah.
You have to also be and there's some people who actually give out advice. It's just, that was just the one thing that kind of like struck me. I was like, wow, like a lot of them don't really know how to have a presence or understand if you're on a stage, you got to give attention to various different parts of the stage. There was a few though, like Bad News, he was moving around.
him.
He really had that like, a presence.
Bad News was a bad liar. saying he was freestyling. He definitely was not freestyling.
I'm rolling with Wilson. We talked about this. I don't believe he was freestyling. Again, they caught him in a lie, at least what I perceive to be a lie when performing. He said, hey, I forgot my lines. And Quavo was like, well, I thought you said you freestyled. And even T.I. was like, yeah, you lying. I don't believe it.
Okay, true. However, I think freestyle maybe not like the best word because it wasn't like in that moment, like off of his head. I think what happened, because he said he was just like, I don't write anything down, which we've heard of rappers who've done that before, like who don't write. So he's like, I don't write anything down. Like I hear the beat and then I think about it and then like, that's that. And then when he stumbled during his performance, Quavo, after the feedback, he was just like, so you forgot your line? And he's like, yeah, I forgot my line. But I didn't take that as him lying. I took that as like in that moment, it's just like, it was very quick. He was under a lot of pressure. Quavo was like, you forgot your line. He's like, yeah, I forgot my line. It's like Quavo kind of fed him that thought and then he like went with it. Yeah. And then, and he explained, he's just like, yeah, I don't like, freestyle. I write it down. I don't write it down. It's just like off of the head. So I think it was more so like a misunderstanding. He didn't do the best job like explaining himself. But to me, what like kind of vindicated him is when he did another freestyle after that. And it was like, right? Like
that's the oldest trick in the book.
I know, he just spat another written.
When he rapped right after that, and then the like Migos line, like the Migos reference, I was like, about Offset. I was like, this to me was not written. This wasn't thought about. Like it was just too in that moment too specific.
I can do that right now. Essence and E.
All right, go B.
Essence and E.
Go ahead, somebody give me a beat.
I'm killing right now. I'm killing.
No. We gonna get bad news. I really feel like bad news. I believe him. I don't think.
Yo,
that he
Essence, that's bad news.
He
came on the stage, was a snooze. Like I can do this.
No, no, but you gotta admit, like he was good.
1, 2,
Oh no,
three.
I'm only joking. And everyone knows this is jokes. Let me be clear. He's talented as fuck.
He was fire.
Like, he's fire.
He was, to me, he was
Yeah,
like
he was
my
dope.
favorite
Yeah,
from Atlanta.
he
Him and the
was dope.
London
He
girl
was
were
dope.
like my favorites from Atlanta.
He also has the ego that will work in the industry.
That was my
He
thing.
has the
cocky.
ego. And I'm not saying that about it, guys, but he does have that charismatic ego persona. A rapper persona, which you have to have ego. You have to have ego.
He
as a
looked like a
performer.
rapper. He talked like a rapper. Even as they addressed him and tried to call him out on it, he said, "Hey, yo, man, I'm just up here."
down.
Like I felt it. So
Question though. Do you feel like, because I was just seeing his mannerisms and just how he was, do you feel like he got some of like energy inspiration from DaBaby?
100%. 100%.
He's from North Carolina.
The way
was he from North Carolina?
Yeah, Bad News is from North Carolina.
the way he was
didn't know
moving,
that.
some of the bars that he said.
I was like, he gives me kind of like DaBaby vibes, except without that like Southern accent, really,
Little
or
bit.
like that
Maybe.
drawl.
Yeah, a little bit. Even if it wasn't true or whatever, I think to your point, Essence, yeah, I like him. Like if I had to
he's super
pick,
dope.
he's one of my picks. Your pick, Wilson, the London girl, definitely. The acclaim that pretty much graced her as soon as she came onto the stage, before she even got to even perform, that crowd went nuts.
She had the best performance out of any city.
Yeah.
Also, another thing with
Killed
her
it.
too is that when she came on, she was already hyping up the audience.
Yeah.
Then she started off with an easy hook.
Yeah.
And then she went right into it. So you could tell that she knows how to
She's a
set up a song
performer.
and to
Yeah.
perform.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, she wasn't hard on the eyes neither.
No, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
To me, she was probably the most like developed in every aspect, like overall. Like you know how they have like overall scores. Like to me, she had like kind of the best overall score as far as like look, performance, lyrics. Like it was the best.
She had the full package.
Yeah,
She
full
wasn't a
package.
bad looking girl either. She was.
Yeah.
You could tell she was in shape.
Yeah.
Even her moving.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be there though.
And
Well, that was my thing.
She shouldn't be there.
If I'm keeping it a buck, there's a lot of artists that I think they were selling themselves short. They were selling themselves short by doing it. I get it. And I know that, let me break it down because I know y'all will kill me and think, oh, Brandon, that's their big chance. Why would he wouldn't? Sometimes it's very important to know your value as an artist and even for us as creatives, right?
Yeah.
It's important also to know when you could be kind of selling yourself short just for this one big look. I think London B is one of them. I think we were talking about, what was the name of the goth kid? There was a kid that was dressed in goth.
Yeah.
I think he was Spanish.
from where?
I think it was in Chicago.
I think it was Royce that said it best to him though. He was like,
Yeah.
"This ain't the platform." For
Yeah,
you."
let's see if we can get in contact with Royce real quick. I want to call Royce and see what he thought because I'm sure he said more than
I
that.
feel that way about Jacob, the Jacob Campbell guy, the other white guy
Yeah.
who could really rap from Chicago.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for those situations, honestly, of course there's going to be a winner, but I think the biggest winner is going to be the person who is like second or doesn't win just because
Yeah.
of
Like American
contracts.
Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, his shit's going to voicemail. I'll call Royce later. All right.
It's never the winner. Like on any of these shows, it's never like when you think about like even in the beauty space, like America's Next Top Model and then like American Idol and The Voice, like you hardly ever hear from the person who actually won the competition.
Yeah.
That's because the winner gets a horrible contract, and then the
Yeah.
second person gets like the contract
Freedom,
that they
but
won.
the exposure.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If I'm an artist, and if you're smart, even doing these shows, yeah, I would utilize the platform, but I would try to do something else so that even if I don't get picked or if I don't make it, I'm still good. Like that goth kid, I feel like could have, what's it? Young Water, y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I really think that Young Water could build a whole mosh pit in SOBs
totally
or BB
could.
Kings
Yeah.
and would rule.
can.
He really, and this is gonna again sound crazy, but just feel me. He reminds me of Tech Nine a lot.
I
Just
can see that.
just in his in how he handled himself. Maybe obviously younger, different race and all that stuff. But I'm talking about just having a following.
Yeah.
I feel like that kid could go someplace and 100% get a nice little following.
Yeah.
And easily end up on one of these Roots picnics
And
or
like
somewhere.
a cult following,
Yes.
like Tech Nine, like it's
Yeah.
definitely like an alternative following, but
Yeah.
it's like they're
Yeah.
loyal.
They're loyal
it's
to
like a
death.
cult
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he would have made it if he didn't have the baby head on a chain.
Yeah, that was
I think he would've been
that,
straight.
that was a bit much.
Especially
Yeah.
with like that room full of black people and black judges, you know, we don't fuck with certain shit. We like, oh
Yeah.
shit, Satan.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. He didn't even have a metaphor for it. Like I thought, like,
Well, that was
like when
my-
they asked him about it, he was like, "Oh, it's just kind of an alter ego."
Yeah,
That's a baby head on a chain.
Well, once they said
An alter ego.
once he said that's alter ego, I was like, "Ugh." I don't know if you want to lead with that one with your sales pitch. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
it's
the
a
best
doggy.
thing.
Don't bring it in here though.
I thought that was Dalmatian. I'll steal that dog.
No, but the thing though is like if at least he knows about having like you need to have a persona.
Yeah.
Like most people, it's like okay, well, what's your thing? They'll be like,
Right.
and that's what even T.I. was like, why are you special? And this is gonna, I don't know, whatever. I'll just say it. It's gonna sound bad, but a lot of them had the same kind of sad stories, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, and even T.I. said he was like, listen, a lot of us rappers have someone who died or drugs
Cardi said that
or
too.
this or that. What is
Cardi killed that
what's
shit.
different? Like, don't tell us
Yeah.
your sad stories.
Yeah.
Tell us what's different as you, as an artist, as a person. Which is what I actually did like that she said it because I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, a lot of them did say like, oh, my family died, oh, this, that. I'm like, guys, like, this
And
is
that's
like
kind of the genre. That is
Yeah.
like hip hop, like all of them. Like it's definitely like a like you know, rags
struggle.
to riches
Yeah.
kind of genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then when asked about like you specifically, not your story, you specifically, a lot of them couldn't answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said something earlier before the show, though. Do you think a lot of even them communicating their stories or just their passions, do you think it was maybe prohibited because of nerves? Like they were nervous. They were on the big stage for the first time. Some of them obviously has been on there, but for a
Yeah.
lot of them, they'd never even seen celebrities in person or whatever,
Right.
and they were starstruck. Do you
Because
think
they
that
were freaking out. They were like, "Oh shit!" Like I just saw. Like I remember when they were in LA. Also, like R.I.P. to Nipsey Hussle. But when
Word.
the guy walked in, he was just like, "I just saw Nipsey and like T.I. Like and like I think it was some of that. Like you know, you are nervous, and then I think anytime you're like fighting for your dreams, and especially when you have something that you are running from or something that you're trying to make it out of, like there's so much on the line. So it's so much pressure. There's so much adrenaline because you're like, okay, these celebrities, these people that I look up to. Also, like if I don't make it, like who knows when my next chance will be. Like there's just so much on the line, and I think you know nerves are like very natural. Like it would be unnatural to not be nervous.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely probably like you know kind of got in the way with some of them from like everything from like delivering to even just like kind of saying why they were special. And you've been in situations like that, I'm sure, where it's just like someone will ask you a question and you'll answer it, and then you're like, damn, I should have said this.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
moment, you're just
Yeah.
like,
That's
you
happened.
know.
That's happened plenty of times. I've said a lot
Yeah.
of dumb shit just in the moment, either not
Yeah.
being prepared for the question or even just the moment.
right.
Yeah, especially when I go to the DMV.
Word. Anytime I pull up to a drive-through, I'll be like, I'll know exactly what I want, and then as soon as I get that,
It's like, what order you want?
and then you got the one lady. Can you hurry up, sir? And it's like, ma'am, give me a minute. Like, yeah, this is a lot of pressure right now.
So we're talking a lot about obviously the acts, but what do you guys think about the judges? I feel like there were some judges I feel like they could have adjusted better.
Yeah.
Or just it could have been other
I think
certain
I got
other
an
people.
unpopular opinion.
Let's hear it.
Wait,
Let's hear it.
whoa,
Let's
whoa,
hear
whoa.
it.
I almost don't even want to say it.
Zoom in, Gianni. Zoom in.
I'm so scared to say this, but I just gotta say it, especially now because I done brought that shit up. So I love. I'm obsessed with Cardi B. I got mixtapes from before she was even like mainstream famous. I don't necessarily think that she is the best judge when it comes to women rappers. I think that they could have picked someone else. I love her. I think she's great for personality. I think she would have been a great like guest, or like a consultant, kind of like how they had Snoop on, which love Snoop. I thought he was such a good addition.
Yeah.
But I think she would have been a great like consultant, like how they had Snoop. But I think that as far as feedback, I would have wanted to see her feedback have like a little bit more context, a little bit more thoughtfulness. Something that stuck out to me with her twice, before we even got to I think like episode 2 or 3, she mentioned twice how like basically like kind of saying how white approval was so important. So like once she was just like, I think this was in LA, she's like, the white people gonna be scared of you. When the guy was like, murder, whatever. So, and she was just like, white people gonna be scared of that. And then another time, when she said, these white people, like, when you in these rooms, they just care about money and da-da-da-da-da-da. Which, like, yes, that is true. However, I do think that, like, when we have to stop, like, putting so much weight onto like white opinion, especially when it comes to black art, because then that's when it's like compromised. The quality of it is compromised. The authenticity of it is compromised. And I just would have rather see somebody a little bit more, like even Rhapsody. Like I think she's so talented, and I think that she would have given really good, thoughtful feedback. If you're talking about like OG, I think Missy would have given really good feedback. But people who've like taken risks, who have like, because this is a show clearly where lyricism matters, someone who can give like really strong lyrics. I just think that there could have been like a better female judge, and I would have liked to see her more as like a consultant, because I think she's super funny.
Yeah.
Gotta give you a little pushback.
Don't tear me apart, Birdie gang.
Gotta give you a little pushback here.
Okay, I'm ready. They done already prepared me about stuff, so let's go.
Oh, she already calling you out. Dang, I like her.
First off, Cardi B is the biggest female artist in the world right now.
Biggest female rapper, yeah.
Biggest female rapper in the world.
Biggest female artist, I'm gonna have to say Beyonce, but.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love Rhapsody. You can't put Rhapsody on there over Cardi B. Personality-wise, success.
I'm just, for me, because shows like this, to me, it's not just like, oh, this is fun, I want to watch this. I'm really looking at it like, oh, they are really about to break a new talent. So for not even just like our enjoyment, but for the artist's own benefit, like whoever this new artist is, for their own benefit and for their development, like give me somebody who can really help develop me as an artist. I think Cardi is great. I think she is so funny. And maybe if she was like a regular, because I think she's good for ratings.
Yeah.
But actual constructive criticism and feedback, like
You're saying it's only but so much she can give.
It's only but so much she can give,
not
because
true.
she was very developed in a way. Like she wasn't this natural raw. She was a natural raw personality. She's a star.
But
is she an artist?
See now, when it comes to being an artist, Cardi B represents something. To be an artist, like in the industry and whatnot, you have to compromise.
Yeah.
You're gonna
for
compromise
sure.
your art.
You got to compromise in life.
She has people
I mean,
write
that's
for her.
more than just artists. That's business,
That's life.
business
That's
creatives.
life.
It's
Yeah.
life. You have
But a
to
lot of
compromise.
artists think that they control everything when you don't.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of compromise with it. So that's why I think she's good on the panel. Also, I'm on my Black Power shit too. But we're not going to pretend like white people don't run hip hop as far as the money goes.
I mean,
They run it.
They run the world, but
They
they
run the
follow.
world.
They follow whatever we create.
Whatever we
That's true.
say, and I think that's the thing. I think like you said, it's just like white people run shit because of money, but black people are the authorities on cool.
We're the
on
real
music.
influence. Oh, yeah.
We are the real influence.
Absolutely.
So if we say this is what it is, and that's what it is, and then they'll put the money behind it. And
But-
I just wish that the money comment, even I'll let that slide. But the whole like white people gonna be scared of that. To me, it's just like, like, well, fuck that shit. And that's why I liked when T.I. said, like, well, white people be scared of Saul too, and it ain't stopped them from making that. So I like that he kind of came back, and I think that there is this kind of thing that we get into a lot with like respectability politics and always caring about like, well, what will white people say? What will white people think? White people also be scared that you be fighting at parties,
That's
but
true.
you still did it, and it was fine,
Yeah.
and it didn't stop your career.
Some of them are afraid. They're afraid to go up to Washington Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
and you know, what was that, the Harper's Bazaar Icon Party, and her and Nikki got in that fight? I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of white people scared in that room, but
Yeah.
it still didn't stop your checks, it didn't stop your performances, it didn't stop nothing. You got on the cover after that. So I just think that, like, fuck what white people are scared of. I just hate that. I literally cringed when I heard her say that.
You know what it is though too. I think it is to your point earlier about her just articulating it better. I don't think that she was the best person to articulate that message. The other thing is the feedback that she gave, while it was pertinent, I don't think that should have been the focus, because we're talking about performance and we're
Right.
talking about artistry.
Right.
And because of that, I think it should have been more focused on that aspect.
But she
Not
wants them. But she wants to make them a successful artist.
True, but in order to be a successful artist, first
You gotta
and foremost,
you gotta be marketable.
yeah,
you gotta make money.
But even before that, you need like the foundation. Like you need
Marilyn
you-
Manson is scary, and they marketed him.
Yeah, like you have to have a different level of education when it comes to being an artist, and not education from a collegiate level. I'm talking about from an experience level. And you also have to have a different perspective on things. And I think the perspective that Cardi gave, it obviously is her perspective, but I think her situation is kind of a unusual one.
Yeah.
And I don't know that her situation can be aligned with someone else's. You know what I'm saying? Like Cardi really is an anomaly. When you really think
Yeah.
about it, she is, and I was gonna say Milli Vanilli, but I know that could be a diss, and I'm not trying to diss her at all.
She doesn't
What I'm saying is,
hide it though that people write for her. She even said to one of
asked
the
one of the guys
contestants,
to
yeah,
write
she was like,
for
"You
him.
write for me."
but I'm not even talking about writing. I'm
okay.
talking about.
She's
Let's
an
just-
anomaly
let's-
in general.
yeah,
she had over 1 million followers before
Yeah,
she even
like,
started
before-
like
yeah.
anything.
That's true.
She's the only person
Yeah.
in Love and Hip Hop that really does not need Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
Love and
She
Hip Hop
only did
needed
it for, like,
her.
a season.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
on top of that, I actually like, this is weird, guys. This is for the record. I kind of a little bit agree with Wilson. I think that she's.
Hold on, wait,
Yeah.
what? What's happening right now?
No.
Does this never happen?
Confession time.
This never happens.
Confession time.
This never happens. No.
He's got the biggest smile on his face right
No,
now.
I'm getting the flowers.
Now I said a little bit because I do don't get it twisted.
I'll take it.
I do agree with some stuff she said, but I also think it's important for acts to see people like Cardi, because not every artist, even if they get signed, right? Even if they think they have natural talent, the labels may be like, oh, we're gonna have someone do we're gonna change up your flow, we're gonna do this, so I think having her in terms of like, she's about the business side.
Yeah.
And she was like, listen, at the end of the day, all they care about is a song. You may be able to freestyle, that's
Yep.
great, but that's not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They need to hear that, because they may get into a situation and be like, oh, I can't rap that. They're like, no, they don't care.
Yeah.
Now, what she could have done better is critique better, but saying like, your hook's not catchy enough, or you're speaking it too fast. If this was a track, I wouldn't be able to, I don't know. And she did say that at one point, but even still, like, I think she could have been more in terms of that, in terms of like, she may not be able to comment on the penmanship, but she's in the studio as they're putting together the song. She herself built her own brand up. So at
right.
least she could provide value in that way, which is why I like that you have T.I., you have Chance, and you have someone like her, who there are plenty of artists that are just like her. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't say created her, but they molded her. They helped guide her and shape her. There's plenty of artists like that in the industry.
Eve, we make a great team. We should do this
Just
more.
for today.
I
Nope.
said it better myself.
Nope. Just for this moment, Wilson. Just for this moment. Just for this moment.
If I'm keeping it a buck, the only miss on Cardi's part for me is that I felt like this was the perfect time for Cardi to be authentic, in the sense of saying like when she talked about the one dude saying, yo, I would like for you to write for me. I would have liked to hear more of that. I think that would have vindicated her in the sense when she's always discredited upon her being an artist. Because I do look at Cardi as being an artist. While, people write for her and things of such, I think there's so many other aspects of artistry that go into it. And I think while you know, you can give. I know millions of people that make amazing records. I literally know people that have hit records, and they're not hit records because they have just that one component of the record. They don't have everything else. And
the music is the last thing on the checklist
100%
of being an actual artist.
100%. And I think that Cardi should have spoke more to that, and also spoke more about her struggle. You know, going from this internet famous person, at least how they deem
she
her.
touched on it a little bit. She did say they will come, like something along the lines of like people will come
People
for
will
you.
come.
Like you have to be prepared.
You have to be ready.
And I would have liked to see her talk about that more. And I think it would have been a dope flip for her to be like, yo, like, when I work on records and records that I select, this is what makes me pick these records to want to perform and then take to the next level. Because I do think any record that Cardi either works on or doesn't work on, because we don't have that knowledge, right? But we know it exists. Yeah. I think whatever it is, she takes those records and that performance and the creativity behind it to a whole nother level.
She does.
Yeah.
Just off of personality.
Yeah.
She's like a Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
She is
Yeah.
a brand.
P. Diddy.
Like, she is definitely a personality. She's a personality. She's
Definitely.
a brand.
Definitely.
I like her delivery. I like the tone of her voice.
Yeah.
I like her cadence. Like, I think for me, it was just like the feedback thing. I think for the artist's benefit, if nothing else, could have used someone to give them just a little bit more like developed feedback. I was like, okay, so what are they supposed to do?
And that was my thing. Going into this, she was already scrutinized. If I was her management team, I would have said, yo, this is the direction. We need to give real solid critiques. So this way, when people watch this and their takeaways, they can't say, oh, well, Cardi didn't belong on the show, or because people didn't even want her on the show. I think had she approached it a little differently.
I didn't know that.
What? They killed.
Yeah, it was crazy because I was excited that was one of the reasons that I tuned in, because I love her so much. So I was like, I'm about to watch it because I love Cardi.
She's the most entertaining judge on there.
She's definitely.
I like Chance.
I like
over
Chance.
Cardi?
To me, okay, this is what I like about
entertainment wise.
On the show, yes.
And not entertainment wise.
Not
think
like
you mean like
Cardi's hilarious.
feedback.
Yeah.
I'm
To
saying
me, Chance
let me be clear. I'm
Y'all
talking
saw Cardi's little jab at Iggy?
Yeah, Iggy, I saw it.
What'd she say?
When she looked at T.I., she was like, well, you should know about mentoring female artists.
Yeah.
I can't do all that shit she did after, but you know what I'm talking about.
She did the
I can't do all that.
She did the evil. Yeah. She did the evil laugh, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's the my Cardi impersonation.
I was about to say you nailed the Cardi.
Yeah, but they had to like close your eyes.
The eyes gotta be closed.
The eyes gotta be closed.
Damn, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, she needs to be there.
Yeah, she does need to be there.
Chance is cool.
I thought Chance was great just because Chance.
He's so smart with the
He's always viewed like the nice guys, and you kind of saw moments where he was like,
he was a complete.
he was like,
dick, and I liked it. I liked it. I liked it.
I wish T.I. was being street T.I. though.
yo, where's
Instead
the
of like the proper
vocabulary?
businessman.
let me
Where
be
was
clear.
the vocab?
He's
T.I.
saying
was not
every
bringing the big
single time. He's
words.
like,
Let me be clear. Let me be clear.
you are invited to Los Angeles if you would like to accept.
Yeah, but
You
let
are
me
an
be clear.
exquisite
Yo,
sample or something like that. I was like, yo, where is that? I
Listen,
want
you
that
will
on
never,
T.I.
you will never ever see Rubber Band Man ever again. Ever since T.I. got into some trouble back in the day, he has done the great job of being Mr. Huxtable. Hence his show, hence his diction, hence him dressing, hence how he carries himself, and hence how he addresses social issues. You will never see him act up,
Well, he
only
said-
because the streets is watching.
Well, but also he said on a clip, he was like, he spent a lot of time reading the dictionary when he was locked up. So
Yeah.
he's like, I read the dictionary a few times.
Yeah.
I think overall too, he's just a smart guy. Like you can kind of, you can tell. Like he's just
He's no dummy.
Yeah,
He is
smart.
no
He's just
dummy.
a
It's also
smart
good for
guy.
branding.
He's great for branding.
He is,
great
but
for
T.I. is one of those people,
T.I.
again, that can give you the best of the both worlds. He's the same person that got caught with guns and all this other stuff, and can still go and do hip-hop summits and have intellectual debates about real social issues and attack them with really, really good points.
And still cross over into mainstream markets and still
Definitely.
do like movies and be a guest on The View. Like he's done everything. Like and back to that point earlier, I think that like yes, I understand Cardi's point about like white dollars, but to me T.I. is a great example of somebody who didn't have to compromise his authenticity. Yes, you have to sometimes make yourself palatable, but you don't have to fear like your authentic self because of white money.
Yeah.
You know who they should have switched in terms of judge? I felt like they should have switched Quavos out. They should have maybe put him in the Killer Mike side.
I think you guys.
I don't know.
I think you guys.
I just felt like it wasn't like I know they used him for the name and it's like Cardi, Quavos, they're family, but I just felt like the feedback. It was like
I agree with you.
It was very
His
granular.
feedback was perfect.
What are you talking about? That feedback was not.
He
What's
represent.
your favorite piece of feedback from Quavo?
Okay.
Hot seat.
What the fuck did he say that for?
Don't ask me. Don't tell. You chose this fight, not me.
I can't. I'll be honest. I can't remember.
Oh,
But he's 1/3 of the greatest rap group of all time.
Woo! Oh, that's
I'ma
a
be
spicy
quiet.
take. That's a spicy take.
And I want to agree with you because I'm from Georgia, but I can't agree.
Yeah, I'm not rolling
I
with
wanna
you.
agree
There's
with
mad
you.
other dope rap
like you
groups.
gonna disrespect Outkast? Like
Yeah, you wildin'.
gonna disrespect some of
going
these other
Migos.
groups?
Wu-Tang,
I'm going-
Slaughterhouse.
Yo, you mad
Going
disrespectful.
Migos.
There's mad
You
rap
mad
groups.
disrespectful.
The Locks.
Mad disrespectful.
The list can go on.
Like
I know.
OD disrespectful. He said all time. Are you gonna
All
Are you gonna hold to
time.
that?
Do you mean
best
all
rap
time
group
or do
of
you mean
all
like
time.
today? Like for this generation?
Think about it.
Think about it. Think
I'm
really
gonna go all
hard.
time.
Wait, all time?
I'm going all time.
Hold on, you're saying they're the best?
All time.
I feel like you like saying stuff to get a reaction out of people.
No, hold on.
Dude.
So, hold on.
That's a
That's-
big misconception.
Yeah, these
So
are
you believe this in your heart and your soul?
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen,
Can we
this
pull
is
up,
the classic
we
moment
pull up
in the
our record sales
episode
at all?
where Wilson yet again triggers our guest.
pull up some record sales.
We're not talking about record
sales.
sales. We're
I'm
not
just
talking
saying.
about sales.
I'm just saying.
Wait
You
a
think-
second. Wait a second. Let me go back to what him and Nas were saying before. They didn't have social media back
Yeah,
then.
come on.
It was full album sales. Now it's streaming. Okay.
I think they
You
are
have-
the most
Sorry,
successful rap group.
can't.
Go ahead.
You have them being bigger and more successful than Wu-Tang?
I
I was
believe
about
so.
to say Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang
Them
had a
Wu-Tang.
video game. They
believe
had their
so.
own video game at a time when rappers didn't even do that stuff.
Well, I'm gonna wait for Chris.
I don't know if you want to stand on
Chris,
the ledge.
Chris is gonna back me up on this.
I'm not
Let's give him some time.
Are we talking about record sales? Or are we talking about
Yeah,
greatness?
yeah, what is the
'Cause two
argument?
are not
Yeah,
synonymous.
Yeah,
let's-
because you said best of all time. That
Yeah.
does not mean selling.
Yeah,
like,
let's-
what do you?
let's-
What's
let's-
the?
What's hold
Biggest?
on.
Nah, they're not.
No.
No.
Okay. No. I thought they had the sales to back it up.
No. We're doing this.
thought they
Go
had the
ahead.
sales to
Go
back
ahead.
it up.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, they haven't hit gold yet on like their solo stuff. They haven't.
Yeah.
Group albums, Culture being their biggest one, but Culture 2, Culture 3, not so much. They're only sold like 200,000, 300,000.
It's a different era.
Shit.
Listen,
It's a different
you
era.
die on that ledge.
You're
Yeah.
definitely dying on that.
It was a
ledge.
tough one. I'm still gonna go with it.
I know you are, because you're just stubborn.
I'm
Like
still
that.
gonna go with
I
it.
I admire your commitment.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
crazy ass opinion. I admire.
Yeah. I'm gonna go down with the ship.
Character. Like you would.
Listen.
He's not wishy-washy. At least he's gonna be stern.
I'll go down with the ship on this one.
Wilson is very much the guy that is in Captain Phillips and said, "Look at me, look at me."
That's what I said. That's why I was like,
I
how
am
you
the captain now of this ship.
Outkast, Sam.
You know what?
Yeah,
Outkast went diamond.
I didn't even go to.
I'll admit when I'm wrong.
I don't even mention Outkast because just for me that they're like the cradle. Like, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
Outkast
Listen,
can do no wrong.
I just
for me.
started off
It's
with
one of my favorite
just
hip-hop
Atlanta
groups of all
group.
time. Yeah.
Atlanta group.
Yeah.
You can't even put the Migos above Outkast. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I was wrong.
Now,
It's, like,
mind you,
disrespectful.
that does. I don't think that takes away from Migos.
No,
I
not
think,
at all.
I think now
what they've
if-
done is revolutionary.
They made a wave.
I think you can add them in that conversation of being one of the greatest.
Hold on,
rap
Outkast
groups.
is a duo.
That's a group.
That's a group.
That's
It's
a
not a
group.
group.
Stop
A group
it.
is
Stop
not
it.
a group.
Stop
It's not a
it.
group.
Stop it. Stop it.
You
You're
you
reaching.
said
Just
group.
stop
You
it.
didn't say duo. You didn't say
listen.
trio.
No,
you said
no,
group.
no.
A duo's not a group.
We're
That's
not
a group.
Listen,
Yeah,
we are
it's gotta be
not
3 or
going
more.
to fall for the Wilson bait this week. That is crazy. We're gonna keep it
Okay.
pushing. We're not doing that. You know you're wrong. It's over. You lost.
But who do you think they should have replaced? I hate saying the word replaced, but they should have
Swapped out.
out Quavos. I felt, well, we talked about it earlier about Quavos should have been that extra content before they actually did
100%, 100%.
actually the consultant.
You-
But who would be in that seat if it wasn't him?
Just flip flop Killer Mike. Killer Mike. And maybe it was too much. And now thinking about it, maybe it's too much diction on there, right? Maybe you have T.I. and Killer Mike. And then you have
Big Boy.
Big Boy. Maybe that's too much diction there. There's a lot of words there when you think about
Yeah.
it. Killer Mike articulates himself very, very, very well. T.I., we've already spoken about it. And then Big Boy can articulate himself very well. So maybe they needed...
Is that the criteria? Like, oh, we have too many articulate people. We need someone who says, yeah.
It could be...
you, big dog. I was like, what? Like,
the only reason
that can't be. Like, that would never be a criteria
agree.
on like a white show.
I'm just trying to figure out creative
Gucci. Gucci, I think Killer Mike would have been great. I think Jeezy also would have been great.
Yeah.
To me, I would have liked to see Jeezy on there because I think his feedback could have been really good.
Yeah. I'm about to say, if they were going to get someone who's more of just like trap music, I think Gucci would have been very valuable just because Gucci, in terms of that scene, like he had the mixtapes. A lot of the Atlanta artists, the trap artists, they went first on his mixtape.
Yeah.
And from a business perspective, that's something that I would be like, yo, like I want to know more because he had Future on his mixtape. He even had Migos. He had a lot of them, and he was helping them in advance. Like from a business perspective, I think Gucci would have been solid.
Yeah.
And he
what do you want to say now?
No, I wasn't going to say nothing.
They all try.
I saw you looking at your phone.
I'm just saying Quavo represents the lifestyle of a rapper.
And that's what I'm thinking.
The jewelry.
I think that when I'm looking now, as I'm replaying, like these judges and how they're set up, I'm realizing that there is always one super duper lyrical person there. Like if you look at like Royce, Chance, and Twista. Twista is the fast guy. Royce is the double word, bar you up, structure guy, and then you have Chance that has pretty much the mainstream success out of all of them.
Yeah.
I think that's the structure of their panels.
Like how they had Jadakiss, Fat Joe, and then Cardi the mainstream. Fat Joe is more of like the personality.
Yeah, I think we figured out the matrix. I think that's
also
what it is.
Business.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and I think that they all provide.
Not to say that Fat Joe's not a lyricist. Because I know some people are gonna get mad.
They'll mess it up. We're
But
not saying
we're not saying that.
Yeah, you're not. You're not.
He's like the boss, like business.
Yeah, he got the the rapper energy that you want for like performances and stuff.
Fat Joe reminds me of Rick Ross.
Cardi said that too. Like
he reminds me of Rick Ross. Oh, she did say that? All right, she's smart.
She was more so talking
about like the big guy.
Rick Ross reminds you of Fat Joe because Fat Joe was first.
Yeah,
true.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Fat Joe consistently makes hit records.
He does.
But you don't
I
look.
love that
you don't.
Yes record.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, that record is fire. But my thing is, you don't look at Fat Joe being super lyrical. That's where Kiss comes into play. Kiss is on that panel
he was the
because
lyricist.
you know he is a lyrical monster, and at any given point, if he needed to battle everyone on that stage, he would be able to do it. I'm not saying that Fat Joe would not be able to do it. I'm just saying you would put your money on Kiss.
They play their role. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the. It's just like that balance. Like
they bring different perspectives.
You can give different perspectives and different feedback, and all that feedback is valuable.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Agreed. I mean, still not here for Quavo. Only maybe is there somebody else who talk more who has the rapper lifestyle? Like he literally was like, like he had no words. It was
more so about what he's not saying. It's in the silence.
Okay.
That makes him most powerful.
All right.
Okay. You're the greatest. I swear. You're the greatest.
We gotta. I don't know. These two about to go at it, but God, I can't lie. From a contestant standpoint, I was a little bit disappointed with New York.
Very disappointed.
I was disappointed with New York. I was like, dang.
On the low, I kind of felt like, and I can't say it just because I know that Cardi is an executive producer on the show. I kind of feel like the New York people were set up for failure in this.
Why do you say that?
Yeah, what you mean?
The talent that came on the stage, I don't really felt like it. I didn't really feel like rather it represented New York.
Oh, agreed.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Like,
agree.
I was kind of like, who did the picking here to get to the stage?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, well, New York's not the hottest right now.
I'm not. I don't think it has anything to do with being hot. I just think that on any corner in New York City, you can find a dope artist that would at least be able to compete on that level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know that they did their due diligence to get the right people to represent New York. Is all I'll say.
Well, I think some of the best artists that you'll find wouldn't go on a show like that.
That's true too. That's
know what I'm
true.
saying?
But
That's
other
true.
cities still had, like Chicago had them, like LA had them, and Atlanta had them. New York was the only one that was like lacking.
Yeah.
And that,
Like, and they had some good. Chicago has some good artists.
Yeah.
Like there was some other city, Atlanta too. Like they had some really good artists. I don't know what was going on with New York. I don't know.
Maybe were they at SOBs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that was
They were-
kidding. I'm
yeah.
just joking, guys. Jokes. SOB is notorious for having acts come through.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed because when I was watching it, like I felt like we had a lot. You know how they do that part in the episodes where they just show a few of them, not going to the backstories, but you know that they're the ones that are not going to make it.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, there was like several, like 3, 4 straight in a row from New York. I was like, we're that bad?
I started to
people-
feel away, honestly.
So did you? Because you're from New York too.
The New Jersey, New York area. Yeah.
Okay.
Tri-state.
So is there anybody that y'all felt like from New York at least? Like, was there one person that you're like, okay, this is like, a potential maybe like. Did anybody from New York stick out to y'all at all?
If I'm being honest, no one from New York, no disrespect to anybody who was on that graced that stage and even had that opportunity, but no, I didn't.
don't know.
Nobody from it. Maybe I need to watch it again.
I like the fat dude that didn't make it.
I liked him too.
He should have told them that was his first time ever performing live.
Well, that was my only thing.
I
I'm only talking about
think they
people
would've brung him on.
that made it from New York. If
That
we're talking about
made
him,
it.
the big guy, 100%
I wanted him
should
to
have gone.
make it. I wanted him to make it.
I don't understand why he didn't make it.
Yeah.
well,
they
his
said
stage performance was whack.
I get it. But if we talking about polish,
They could have developed him more.
You got to know
But-
when
but
you can mold something.
I don't think the judges knew that was his first time ever performing live. I think if he would have mentioned that,
to me, that
I think they would have
shouldn't
brung him on.
I understand that, but to me, that shouldn't matter as much. To me, I would have been like, all right, like this is somebody who has potential. You can mold this person because I really liked him, and I even liked he was very shy, and you could tell he hadn't been doing this a long time as far as like performing
You
live.
could tell.
I was like, there's something there, and I really liked him.
Yeah, but even still, my thing is, you don't go up there or even in this, I guess, the platform or whatever the case may be. You don't expect an artist to be super duper polished, right? Like you're when you listen, just hear me out. When you do these competitions, you're looking to find talent and develop them. You're not looking for polished artists that are 100%.
Because they won't be on the show.
And that's
They're
my
not gonna be on the
point.
show.
You're never gonna
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that. When you go into it, you're supposed to go and say, I think he has something.
Right.
Maybe let's move him to the next round. Let's see if he can do this. He did it. Let's move him to the next round. Now let's see if you can do choreography. Now let's see if
Right.
you can write your rhymes. You can direct a video. But like you want to find a diamond in the rough. I think that
But they were doing that though.
they were.
There's a lot of
but
people
I-
they put through that were not polished. Homeboy dancing with the sequin jacket.
Oh, they even, I hate to say this, they even let some women go
his
through that.
performance was fire, though.
His performance, no, his
Yeah.
performance was not fire. I think that his story pushed him through.
Who? Which one is this?
The
What
guy
city?
that had
New
the
York?
sparkly jacket on.
His grandmother told him to go.
His grandmother
get
came
the
on.
shiniest jacket he could find.
Yeah, I thought the
I
story.
don't even remember him.
Yeah, I thought the story was very interesting. I thought that the story was compelling, right? Like even them showing his grandmother and even how they were killing his outfit. I wasn't mad at his outfit because it honestly reminded me of Andre 3000-esque until he started rapping. Once he started performing and he started going, it was.
Oh, was he the kind? He had locks.
He had braids.
He was inaudible,
and,
like he
yeah,
just.
for
That
me,
joint was hard.
I remember.
for me, it was.
I was jumping. I was jumping with him.
Of course you were.
Yeah.
But just for me, I kind of felt like his story sold him more than his talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I could
Stories
see.
sell too, though.
But that's
is
but that's what I'm
branding.
saying. In the day and age where we're at, I could see how if you just clean him up a little bit,
Yeah.
I could see how maybe he could sell. Tell him to stop jumping around. Tell him if he wants to wear that funky shit, great. Just make sure it's a little bit more funkier and in coordinate.
Like lean in.
Yeah,
all the
like
way, yeah.
he's got to commit to it. And I feel like he did it just to kind of stand out, which is great. But now I want to know if that's really his MO or if he
Yeah.
just did it for that performance to
show,
stand
yeah.
out. Like I'm not clear on even what he
Yeah.
is bringing to the table.
I have a take. And I know, first of all, let me start off by saying I am always pro women empowerment. That's my thing.
Definitely.
But I personally felt like some of the women, they passed and they should not have let go through.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because they were like, okay, like
Quota.
let's have it be somewhat balanced so it's not entirely men.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, that's okay. But I just felt like some of those women, I don't think they. Some of them, not, and when I say some, it's like one or two of them,
Yeah.
not like five, but one or two of them. I felt like they just passed through, and I don't think they should have.
Are you talking about the woman that was dancing? She was a stripper, and she could also sing. She could also rap. She was stripping.
They didn't pass her through. You talking about in Atlanta?
Yeah, they didn't pass her through.
No, it was one. I think it was in New
Or are you
York.
talking about ones that they
one was
passed
in New York.
through?
She had like the wavy hair.
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
The one whose mom died?
no.
Okay.
We'll find the name, but
Because there was one whose mom died in New York, and that was when Cardi was like, everybody got a sad story, and they passed her through, and she's like, Cardi, I just need a chance. And I think her name was like, I keep wanting to say Hannah Montana, but that's not it.
Oh,
It was
so
like
Savannah Hannah?
Savannah.
Yeah, but I actually liked Savannah Hannah. I feel like to me she was like one of those diamond in the roughs, and I was like, okay, I think this girl has potential.
I want to
look
go
her
back and
name
watch
up.
it again.
Let me see if we're talking about the same
Yeah,
people. Because there was
I wanna-
one. I was just like, I like. She could rap, but you like I didn't feel like she had that it factor.
Yeah.
No, not her. It's
That's
not
Savannah Hannah.
No. The one I'm talking
She's
about, that's
really
not
pretty,
her.
too.
She I don't. She's light skinned. She has like kind of like she had like her hair was kind of wavy and poofy.
K McAvoe, right?
Is that
I
her?
can't see
I
her
can't.
face.
Yeah, that IG is. I was like, I don't know. I can't.
She raps real hard, like Young M.A. like.
No, wait.
No, you're
that was Beans.
No.
Wait, let me see
Did
what she
she
looks
got
like.
a selfie?
Yeah, actually, that
Oh,
one.
yes.
Yeah. That one.
Good job,
that
Chris.
one. She's the one. Like she can rap, but I just.
If we're talking about marketability, though, like I get it.
That's
Like,
something, yeah.
I mean marketability, yeah. But the it factor. Some of
No,
them I
agreed.
watched and I'm like, they have the it factor.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like, at least from the guys. This is only from the few episodes. They do it weekly, so
Yeah.
don't kill me. But for that her performance, I just didn't feel it. Now I could change my mind later on because
Yeah,
she's gonna be doing
'cause
more
it's still
stuff.
early.
But that first one, I was just like,
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about
don't
these
know.
shows. We're all gonna take our picks, and then we'll talk about
I
this through the
know.
entire season. And like, E was right, or E was right,
Yeah.
or Wilson was right. Like that's the fun thing
I don't know about that. I'm just.
yo, she's a sharpshooter. She said, pow, pow.
All right.
I like.
I didn't even see it coming.
But I'm really interested to see it. I know, and we really did a whole episode about this, but I do want to talk about something real quick before we kind of wrap up here. Tyler Perry.
Yo.
Yes.
Can we just take a
Salute.
moment to fucking take our hats off to Tyler
Yeah.
Perry? Yo.
No matter
Absolutely.
what your personal feelings are
It don't
about
matter.
him,
That was
Listen.
some boss
that was
shit.
some big stuff. And then he's gonna have a house for domestic violence as well as LGBTQIA
yep.
plus
Yep.
and sex workers.
Yes.
Like, and also they're already hiring and then looking to hire black people. And then
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm
Listen,
for it.
He
I'm
built,
for it.
He is the only person in history to go and buy a slave-owned land and build something 100% bought and purchased by him with no funding in back of him to then make that bigger than Paramount and all of these other Hollywood sets combined.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he owns it. Like,
Owns
did
it.
that
Such a
resonate?
boss.
Yes.
Like,
Did you
it's
see Ava's
crazy.
Insta stories?
Yes.
Yo, Ava had like the best like showing of
Her
it. Yo.
showing of those pics, but
Yeah.
even his,
I just got chills.
I got look at my like
It's
when I
crazy.
every time I think about it,
And I got on a wool coat.
man,
and I still
what
got
is
chills.
that's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's incredible.
really think about it. He never has to deal with Hollywood ever again if he does not want to. Hollywood now has to deal with him.
That's a
Yeah.
boss move.
But that's different.
But if that studio is gonna have any credibility, no Medeas can come out of there.
Nah, I don't agree with
No
that.
more
I
Medea
don't-
movies
I
out
don't
of
don't
there.
agree with
And I'm
that.
not really the biggest Medea fan, I'll be honest. I think Medea puts him in the position to do what he's doing right now.
That gave
I
him
thi-
his money.
Yeah, I
his
think,
money.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
but enough.
I mean,
Enough.
and that's the thing. Like, whether you rock with Medea, don't rock with Medea, it's just like we can't even discredit like how that branding
Oh,
of
yeah,
Medea,
yeah, no,
what
that's-
what it's like led to.
Hallelujah.
Listen, for real though, like
Yeah.
it's led to all of this, these started as like what people would consider like the Chitlin Circus, like plays,
Yeah.
and now like Black Panther was like shot at his studios before it was like
Before
now
it was
all of
even,
it,
yeah.
it's crazy, like.
sometimes you got to play the game in order to own the game.
100%.
And I don't even
Like that?
necessarily
That's
know with
t-shirt
him
worthy.
if
Yeah, that's
he was
t-shirt
like
worthy.
playing. I think with him, and this is a thing too, where it's just like that was his authentic experience. Like, and I know that he got like a lot of pushback, especially like from Black women. Like, why do all the women in his movies always got to be like battered and da 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 da? But like, this was his actual real life, and it may be like a one-dimensional perspective, but that's still his story. And I could say that about a whole bunch of rappers who talk about like selling dope and like whatever it is. Like, that's his story, and he was able to profit off of it in a way that we've just literally not even seen yet. So like,
But you know what I think is interesting too? While a lot of women say things like that about Tyler Perry, and let's say that is true, right? You never
lot of men too.
Men
Yeah.
too, right? The reason why I don't feel that way, and maybe a lot of people don't feel that way, is simply because the women that are actually in these roles always often, when accepting speeches on behalf of those roles, often say, yo, Tyler, without you,
Yep.
I would have never even been here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I would have never. The doors were closed in my face. I'd done so many different roles and been passed up for so many roles.
Yep.
This role that you gave me changed my life. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like if
Taraji said that.
yes, Taraji did say that, right? Yeah, I know it wasn't bugging.
It was a case of and she was like, I was nominated for an Oscar and I still couldn't get work. The only
Yeah.
person that gave me real money after that was Tyler Perry.
And gave me, and
Wow.
all of them all say he gives you your worth.
Yep.
He doesn't short you. Whatever
Yep.
your asking amount is, he will find out a way to give it. That is admirable. For me, I put him in a whole nother light. I have a whole nother level of respect for him.
Yep.
And I just think what he's doing and what he did and what he potentially will be able to do now with this whole new set is going to be remarkable.
Now,
Beyonce was there. Beyonce don't be going to shit.
Yeah.
Beyonce
No,
was
the
there.
Clintons were there.
It was crazy.
Like-
the Clintons.
Beyonce don't just show up.
Beyonce's better.
Yeah.
Beyonce and Jay don't just be showing up to shit.
No, they
Friends
don't.
are
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But they was at that motherfucking. They did, you know, like
Yeah.
they were there. To me, that says so much. And Beyonce don't write captions.
Yeah.
She wrote a long ass
Yeah.
caption about
Yeah.
how she couldn't stop crying. Like, it's just, to me, it's such a like big moment. Like, you cannot
Yeah.
even like.
For not for nothing, I
Bow
think-
Wow was there too. Let's not
Who?
leave Shad Moss out. Bow Wow.
Oh, okay.
He was there.
Shut
I'm saying
up
we naming
about
all the
Bow
big
Wow. He
dogs.
keep me entertained.
This may be a stretch, but I feel like for Hollywood and just for creatives and just for aspiring people that are looking to be entrepreneurs, I think this is one of the biggest moments I think we've had next to when Obama was elected. And I know that may sound a stretch, but I'm talking
think
about
it's a stretch.
I'm talking about
it's
impact.
breaking barriers.
Yeah, I'm talking about like just impact.
I think it's a little stretch, but it's big. It's huge.
But it's breaking.
I
Wait,
think
the
it's
Tyler Perry thing?
I think
Or-
it's
Yeah,
that
you're comparing that to
same-
the first black president?
No, it's just no. He's
Am I-
not saying like from president. He's like breaking barriers, doing something
okay.
that
That
no other
extreme.
black person
Yeah.
has done to that
Okay,
extreme.
okay.
Like this
Saying.
guy owns a space that's bigger than
it.
some of the studios in LA. Like
And
that's
multiple,
It's-
Ava tweeted, she was like, I forgot which studios, and I don't want to get it wrong, but she tweeted, it was like three or
It's
four.
Paramount,
And she's like,
Sony, and
Chris-
somebody else. All of them combined together
can fit inside.
can fit inside.
wait, Paramount, Sony, who else?
Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney.
Yeah.
Is
Warner,
that the tweet?
Warner. Say it.
It was Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Walt Disney's Hollywood's. All those combined is not the same size as Tyler Perry's.
Walt Disney.
That's what I'm
Disney,
saying.
that's
Like
crazy.
that's next level shit. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I'm happy
Yeah.
to even. I feel like that's another thing off my bucket list to be able to watch off. I wanted to always be able to witness having a black president in office. I wanted to see somebody else of our people in color, of color rather,
Yeah.
be in a position of power to change lives. I think that's obviously been done clearly. I think this takes a whole nother level
different
of
level.
of number one, what you're capable of doing, but also how someone can truly see the greatness in you and really want to push you to the next level.
Oh, it takes
Yeah.
everything to a whole new level because now when you have upcoming directors, upcoming actors and actresses, it's going to be a funnel system for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, can you imagine like? I mean, obviously, you know, shout out to Ryan Coogler, but like, yo, you don't know if he could help the next Ryan Coogler just
Yeah.
from saying you can use the lot.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about them over there. You can
Right.
come here.
Right.
Like, it opens up a lot of doors, and I'm actually really excited for it. Now, I want to see like you got this open. You're obviously hiring people of color. Like, now I want to see what are the results. Like, what are you gonna do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is a great opening, but I really want him to see like him put into work.
Go next level.
Yep.
Yeah, go to the next level with it.
I agree.
I think he will.
No, I'm not saying that he
Yeah.
won't. I just said I want to see
she-
it
yeah,
happen.
yeah. That's really where I'm at too, only just because, not also just from a curiosity perspective, but I think to E's point, I want to see what other amazing things will come out of this. Like
For
he has
sure.
a jail. He has his own White House there.
Yeah,
he has
that's crazy.
Like it's crazy what he's done. Like
I'm waiting for the
awesome.
conspiracy theories to come rolling.
I am too.
You
They're-
think?
Oh,
Are they gonna say the Illuminati?
Essence.
Is that where we're gonna go?
Essence.
Maybe I'm
Come
just
on.
trying to be
you ever
know-
hear about Bill Cosby
you-
trying to buy NBC?
Yeah, you trying to be super
they're
optimistic. I'm with you. They're coming. They're coming.
Dang.
The rumors will
yeah.
come. The conspiracies will come. I'm sure. Maybe not fourth quarter because he's rolling right now. And you can say no bad about Tyler Perry, but I think leading into first quarter when he starts to pump out these films, more and more people are going to feel away because I think the bigger thing that people are missing is that what Tyler Perry is doing is going to put a lot of companies out of business.
Oh, for sure.
They no longer have
It's
to.
a threat to white power.
Yeah,
period.
they no longer have to go to these big companies that have already established themselves, the Disneys, the Paramounts, the
Tyler.
Sonys.
Yeah.
I can go to Tyler, and I know that I can get my worth because he's had thousands of people all say, "Oh no, you'll get your money."
Yeah.
Ugh.
Even
I
Kerry
see-
Washington, like these actors and actresses that
You
we've
better
seen
believe
like
it.
rise to like
You better
super
believe it.
mainstream like covers of like like especially with women actors or entertainers, period. Like when you're on the cover of certain magazines like Vogue and Elle, like you
Yeah,
like
GQ.
make-
Yeah.
Yep.
And like these women are like being like, yeah, like he is the one who really, really gave me my shot.
Yeah.
I will say though, I have this fear every time, like, okay, so y'all know I'm Southern, right? So we stay praying. So I kid y'all not, like at night when I be saying my prayers, I be like praying over certain celebrities, like God just like cover them because when you with more success and stuff, there more threats and all of that. And
Yeah.
I pray for J&B all of the time because of just what they, what they symbolize. And like with this, I was so happy, but I was just like, I didn't have the whole conspiracy fear, but I was just
Yeah.
like, people ain't about to fuck with
Yep.
this shit. Like they not really about to like, they not gonna like this. And
Yeah.
so for that, I'm just like, he's on my heart all the more. And I'm like, God, cover him,
Yep.
make sure he's protected, like make sure his property is protected, like everything that he touches, like anointed.
Yeah.
Like, and I really just try to like pray for him and send like positive thoughts and energy. Cause I think the higher you go, and like you said, when you start breaking these like with the Obamas, like I was scared as hell all
was.
8 years.
I was
was.
scared that
I
someone
was
was gonna try to assassinate him. I
too.
can't lie.
I was too.
I
I
definitely
just
thought he
get
was going to
so
get killed.
scared about
I can't
this
lie.
shit.
I didn't
Like,
see him making it. I had that conversation with my parents. I said, y'all don't see him making it through
Yeah.
first term. Like people
It's
were
scary.
upset.
But
Like,
People were so
upset.
upset.
If
Like-
anything happens to Tyler Perry,
Yeah.
the internet is going to be on fire with
People
theories
going
about it being about the
crazy.
studio.
Yeah.
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 So that's the only thing. I'm just like, just keep him covered. Jesus.
Isn't it a shame that we gotta sit here and worry about shit like that? Like
I
really
legit
think
be
about
worried
it.
But you know
about
what's
it.
crazy? We worry about that in our lives in general.
Yeah.
Sure
Like
do.
that's just the unfortunate thing
Ooh,
of
girl.
living this life, you know?
It's the truth.
Because I
It's the
stay
tr-
worried. I do. Every time we go on Barney's, I be like, Lord Jesus, come.
It's the truth. It's the truth, man. But this was a really great episode.
Yeah.
It was. I agree.
Yo, and just to think, when we finally have a beauty director on here, Nas isn't here.
I
The
know.
guy who needs it the most.
We have to plug you with Nas. We're missing one of our castmates. Shout out to Nas. He cut.
Oh, okay. I was like, no.
Yeah, he's going to need some notes.
No, his real name is
His real
Nas,
name is
except
Nas.
it's N-A-Z.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Regular
no.
Nas,
Yeah.
he needs beauty tips.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
I got him.
gonna connect you with Nas.
Yeah,
He needs some help.
anytime.
Yeah, he got
Why
like the
does he need
camouflage.
help?
He got like the camoufage shoulder pads. and,
Nas
like-
is
Yeah.
Nas is the older one out of the entire group.
Because I'm old.
Yeah, he's older than you
Yeah.
and me. Trust me, he is.
Okay.
He likes to wear an Adidas hat, Adidas
Yeah.
shirt, Adidas jeans,
Yeah,
and
like,
Adidas
he's
footwear.
one of
Very
those.
matchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes his beard connects, sometimes it doesn't. It's a lot. So
Right.
at some point, you can just give him some skin regimen. Clean him up a little bit.
got that.
Or teach him like you don't have to wear the same color from head to toe.
Yeah.
You can have complementing colors.
Like he's the
and-
guy that will show up to the barbecue and have an army fatigue hat, army fatigue shirt, army fatigue short. Like he's that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
So-
old does he mind y'all sharing?
I think he's 38 or
well, he appears to be 45.
yeah, somewhere in that.
But
ball-
he's
somewhere in
he's
that-
around
He
30,
acts
33,
50.
34.
Yeah,
He
so-
acts 50.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't know his actual age.
Where's he from?
We don't know.
I mean, he says.
Why y'all don't know nothing about
He
Nas?
says Mount Vernon. He's really from Louisiana.
Yeah, he's from Mount Vernon. I have him being from Ohio. That's just me. I don't really know, but I guess you'll be back on him. I'm
Okay,
sure.
okay.
And I guess we'll
I gotta
touch
meet
base.
him. I gotta meet Nas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nas is great. Shout out to Nas.
You just ran him.
Sorry,
Bring-
we had to.
bring all
we
of your
had to.
equipment.
We had to because every single one of us has gotten made fun
Yeah,
of at
yeah,
some. That's what we
yeah.
do. We make fun of each other, but it's all in good spirited.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
family.
yeah.
Since when were there good spirit jokes towards me? I've never felt the good spirits.
Yeah, I don't have any
She
good.
agreed with you today.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just take that.
Yeah,
all right?
I'm gonna sleep
Deal
on
with
that
that.
tonight.
That is a first in grassroots history that
I know.
you two got actually agreed. That was amazing.
Hey.
And then right then she cut your legs under. and
No,
just-
but then no. We agreed at one part, but then when he started saying the Migos are the greatest
that's what I
rap group of all
said, then you
time,
had to
I said,
undercut
nope,
him.
I'm done.
Had to
Bye.
undercut
I'm
him
back
at
here
that
with
I admit to
y'all.
being wrong.
Back here with y'all.
I thought the numbers were gonna be on my side. They weren't.
I know you did. That's fine. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification button to be notified for your latest to the greatest episodes of Grassroots Pod. And thank you to our lovely guest, Essence. Let them know where they can find you outside of Buzzfeed, because everyone knows Buzzfeed, but let them know where they can find you directly.
You can find me on Instagram. I do answer DMs most of the time, as long as they're not creepy. But my Instagram is at the THE Essence ESSENCE OF of underscore the essence of underscore.
Okay.
Okay, we'll have that pop up too.
Yeah, we'll have that pop up.
Cute.
We got you.
Don't forget the underscore.
We won't forget the underscore. Also, guys, sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is in the description. We actually have some really big news. Really big news that you will only be able to find out in advance if you sign up for our newsletter.
Or if you're in our group meet chat,
Yep,
which
or
is
group meet
still
chat.
popping, you may want to join now for some exclusive shit. We'll leave it there.
You'll be the first to know, so sign up. I'm telling you, y'all are gonna want it. You need to sign up. Okay? All right. Love y'all.
That said, I'm Brandon Killabh Hall.
I'm Erin Ashley Simon.
I am Wilson.
I'm Essence.
And we out. Peace.
Bye.
Grassroots.